Right now we're putting on a water-based cleaner, so it's been kind of tough and water, salt, contaminate, such as dirt, dust. I like to use microfiber towels just because I believe that they leave way less lint and particles behind. Try to achieve like a dirt-free finish as best you can. That's just one of the steps that can help out a little bit. A lot of people that use cheap towels to try to save money, so they can really get expensive products. And they might be fighting themselves a little bit. There's sensors that go in the bumper, so they're basically your standard sensor to make sure that you're not going to crash into you. We do quite a bit of cleaning on all of our parts to try to ensure the best possible finish outcome, which is still very difficult to do. Try to like multiple steps of cleaning. Most of our products like that are steel will go water-based cleaner first, and then I'll follow up with like my wax and grease remover. But on plastic parts that are fine, a lot of the wax and grease removers can remove the factory primer, so we can kind of stay away from those. This cleaner that I'm using is a water-based wax and grease remover, so it's easy to get most of the contamination off of like the outside. Like our steel bars, I prefer to use water-based first, because a lot of people they'll realize after a number of years or right away that when they're done sanding the part, they blow all the dust off of it. There's still a film of dust on the part. Yeah, if they try to use a wax and grease remover to remove dust, it will not do that. It will just smear around. So how are you going to get all the dust out of the sand scratches that you put in there with a wax and grease remover? You're not really going to be able to do that. So you can use soap and water or a water-soluble cleaner. A lot of people use glass cleaner. I have no problem with using glass cleaner. It's fine. But if we have like better chemicals available to us like we do, I'm going to use what's the best stuff to use, period. So. These are persons, they're one of my favorite. You can have these things release some of the wax inside by just giving them a quick stretch. Sometimes they look like they're dirty, but they're really not. They're able to remove the lint that you need for quite a while. And after we're done, I usually just give an initial tag. The green ones are meant more for like your initial tag ragging. Then we have other ones like a blue, which are designed to be like in between base coating and clear coating. Make sure I'm getting any leaves or anything that would fall off it. Putting this off it does create a little bit of static. The more that we go on and tuck it, it starts to increase the surface static. So I have another tool that I'm using right after that. That's called a static. This is an anti-stack up. It's made by Get Fix. It's around $1,200. Put a charge to it. You know it's good to go. And this is basically blowing ions across the part to remove any kind of negative charge. So it'll take away that static film that you have. It's also pretty necessary to do a plastic part, as plastic always gets the whole static. There are chemicals that you can spray on that will also eliminate static. But since I already got the meticulous, that's all I use. there was just a tiny little bit of a breakthrough from the factory primer. So we're just putting a little bit of adhesion promoter on those breakthroughs, which this is acceptable to use. They have a large volume of this you can pour into a gun. That's designed more for like full adhesion promotion on like a raw plastic cover or something. But if you have a breakthrough on your factory primers and you want to play it safe, it's better to adhesion promote any little breakthroughs before you seal. That way it's guaranteed it goes. This is like I tried to set it up like where like my max PSI is 20 on this gun. So that's 20 PSI. That's really not that hard. You know, these are like all the modern D-check guns. So I'm actually going to set it down to about just a couple pounds. The best way usually is to open it right off the wall, which is what I teach people. But to go up and down a couple PSI isn't going to restrict volume. So it's getting involved. Right there, I've got a 1/10 of a part hole. So it's not really enough to screw up a formula, because if you read my percentages, it's at 100.1. So they make these little disposable syringes here that I can come in here and just suck a little tiny bit of that away. So
oh, that's so cool.
Now I've got a little throwaway thing that I don't care about. I'd rather my formula be accurate. It's not shiny anymore like how it was when it went. So that's what we're looking for, is it's like a dull appearance. Back grabbing this off at this point, sure. So it really depends on want to, go ahead. If you see dirt and dust or something that's sticking on the top of the finish, it's absolutely the appropriate time would be to remove it now. So that's where it's a blue tack rag that's designed for base coats or in between steps. This is set up and dried and tack over everything. I personally prefer to not touch anything. I don't want to touch it very much. I want to keep it as clean as possible. Even these rags that are tack rags, they contain beeswax. So there is a transfer of some type of sticky film on your part. And I want to minimize any type of contamination if possible. Our first coat down, our goal is to overlap it around 75% per coat. I try to get a little bit wetter during the winter time because up here the humidity is very low. So in order for me to get this paint to pull out after decent, I keep the boot temperature set a little bit lower and try to put it on just a tad bit wet just so that there's time for it to kind of orient out a little bit. So this is just coat number one. Usually I'll do like 2 coats to 3 coats, then a control coat to orient the metallic. Right now we're just dehydrating the base coat, meaning that we're trying to evaporate the water that's in the coat. You can see it's going from a shinier finish to a dull finish. We're trying to evaporate the water out of the coat. Then we'll be ready for another step. Before I go ahead and pull the trigger on this part, I'm going to kill the lights, check the coverage. So as you can see here, see how there's kind of like a grayness to it? Like when you're looking down on the side, that gives a little bit more color. So just to make sure, if you were to look at this in here, it looks fine, but if you were to take it outside in the sun, you might see a little bit through the paint if you touch the right angle. So for us, to make sure that we're getting the proper type of coverage, most of it is covered. It just needs a little bit more probably along the top there where it's skinny. And then I'll probably just go over everything and make sure that it's even covered.